Virgo, welcome to your weekly tarot reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead. Keeping in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements because you could have messages there. And if you'd like a personal reading, have a look at the description below. You'll find my email there. And we can do that if you're interested. Okay, let's get started here for Virgo. What is the current energy around Virgo for the week ahead? Oh my goodness, look at all these cards. Let's shuffle that again. You must have something going on this week, Virgo. Lots of energy came out there. Let's try and get one or two at the most. Okay, Virgo. Current energy. Okay. Two. Four of Wands and the Two of Pentacles in reverse. So the first thing that comes to mind when I see this combination for your current energy is that there's something here that you need to cut through the red tape in order to reach this finish line. So it feels like you're about to sort of cross this finish line. 1111 in this card, you can see the wands there. Also, this card just looks like a finish line. Four of Wands to me is when you achieve something that you set out to achieve. And it's a moment of personal achievement. Now, it feels like we're seeing the Two of Pentacles with that. So it's not an obstacle, but it's coming with this energy. And that feels like there's just too much on your plate right now, Virgo. You might be spreading yourself too thin, and you might need to cut through this red tape so that you can sort of focus on your goal. Because you might have too many things on your plate right now, and it might be difficult for you to achieve anything with that much stuff on your plate. You know that feeling where you might be anxiously collecting different ways of doing things, like let's say work. You might have like 5 part-time jobs, but you notice that you're not performing well at any of them. And you might be kind of hard on yourself and thinking, well, why aren't I doing a good job? And it's because you've got too much on your plate. It has nothing to do with your abilities and your potential at this job, but you might just have too many things right now on the plate so that you're not able to finish anything well because there's too many things to finish. So it's almost like the first message here for you right out of the gate is prioritize, focus, and then cross it off your list, right? Prioritize, focus, achieve. Prioritize, focus, achieve. And not trying to do too much at once. Okay, seeing the Two of Cups on the bottom of the deck, which makes me feel like you've got to see eye to eye with yourself on this, and that there may also be one of the things on your plate may be a relationship, and the relationship may be sort of either taking the back seat or it's not as high of a priority right now. For those of you who are in a relationship, you might be prioritizing other things ahead of this relationship right now because, again, simply there's just too much on your plate right now. Let's see what the obstacle is here for Virgo. What is the obstacle here for Virgo? Again, so many cards. Let's have a look. Okay, so the obstacle here, we're seeing the Empress with the Ten of Swords in reverse. So that makes me feel like the obstacle for you is sort of seeing the potential out of an ending. Seeing that the worst is over, which means that now you can start something new. You might still be sitting in this energy of this ending, being kind of rock bottom. And as you have too much on your plate already, it's difficult for you to sort of start creating something when you're still dwelling on these endings. I was going to say Leo, maybe there's a Leo around you, but Virgo, trust me when I say that sometimes things end because we have too much on our plate. And it's like, if we don't take those things off our plate, they're going to fall off the plate and end. Because there's too many things. It's crowded on that plate. You know, it's funny. I'm getting this visual of someone at a buffet who, you know, you can go as many times as you want to the buffet. And, you know, sometimes you go to a buffet and you see people with like a mountain on their plate. And it sort of speaks to this idea of scarcity and lack. When you can visit the buffet anytime you want, why fill your plate so high and then you end up dropping half the food on the ground because you took too much, because you didn't trust that there would be enough, so you took too much on the first round. And it feels like something fell off your plate. you know, and now you might be doubting whether or not it's you. Like but it's not you. It feels like we're seeing the Empress to remind you that you're very capable of creating and you're very capable of achieving, but there's just a limit as to how much you can fit into a day or on your plate, because then things start to fall off, or you know, by the time you get to the salad, it's covered in gravy, and you know, again, going back to the buffet example, it's just good to take as you need, right? Don't put too much on your plate. Start to prioritize and focus, and then you'll start to feel like things are more in alignment. Seeing the Queen of Swords on the bottom of the deck, so I feel like you have to just be selective. The Queen of Swords, to me, if she went to a buffet, she would start with the salad and then go back to the table, eat her salad, and then she would return to the buffet and maybe take an appetizer and then go back, and then she might return for her main course, because she trusts that the buffet is abundant and will continually be resupplied. She doesn't have that fear of scarcity. She trusts. And you're being guided to trust as well here, Virgo. Okay, let's see what's on the surface of this for Virgo, the Lovers. So making authentic choices instead of taking the whole buffet back to the table. Take what you want bit by bit, so you can go and eat it and then go back to the buffet, get a new plate, and help yourself to something else. It's a funny analogy, but I can't leave it. Maybe I'm hungry, I'm not sure, but it's interesting. It feels like that what's at the surface of this for you is to make authentic choices and to not overtake things because you're afraid there isn't enough. So then you know, the other thing coming to mind is this idea of too many part-time jobs and not being able to do any of them very well because you're exhausted, because you have way too many jobs. You maybe two max, you know what I mean? And then you'll see that you can do them both really well. Maybe one. You know, we're all different with what we can, how much we can take on our plate. So be authentic. Only choose what resonates for you and what you feel you can manage. Do you know what I mean? Don't find yourself succumbing to that idea of lack and, well, if I can have 5 jobs, then that's better than having one job, because you never know when you're going to get another job. So I'll collect jobs, or I'll just visit the buffet once just in case something happens and all my favorite items don't get replenished. So I'm going to pile up my plate or grab 5 plates. And then as you walk back to the table, you end up dropping them anyway. You know what I mean? It's a very interesting analogy. Let's see what's driving this reading. What's at the root of this for Virgo? Oh, wow. Look at that. King of Rods and the Queen of Pentacles. And you know what I like about this? It's very interesting. Notice how their backs are to each other, right? They're not moving in the same direction. They've got opposing energies. And I'm going to keep them sitting like that because I feel like right now, just like your 2 of Pentacles and your 4 of Wands, you've got Wands and Pentacles again here, which I feel like you have to choose. You have to choose a direction. You can't be torn apart. You're going to have to choose a direction. Are you going to go the path that feels like it's really meaningful to you, or are you going to take the path that feels kind of safe in the material world? It's interesting. They're both great paths. You know, you can't go wrong with the Queen of Pentacles or the King of Wands. The question is, which one resonates for you? Which one is your true path? I feel like you're at a tug of war here. You can't be ripped in half, Virgo. You're going to have to choose one. Choose a path and follow it and see where it takes you. Trust that this is an infinitely abundant universe. So if you go down this path and you're like, you know what, I think I would have preferred that other path, then try it, you know, but you can't go down both simultaneously because they're heading in different directions. Very intriguing. Let's see what the overall guidance is here. What is the overall guidance for Virgo? 6 of Wands. I think you're supposed to take the Wands route. You know, I can't help it. I feel like you're supposed to take the path that leads to this victory, where you are recognized and acknowledged for something that you've produced or done. And it feels like you're in the spotlight for something with this Six of Wands, and that you achieve it by focusing on it, not by like I was going to say half-assing it, and I don't like that word, but this idea of giving it just a little bit of energy because you've spread yourself too thin. You can't give anything a full 100% because you just don't have it to spare. You've spread yourself way too thin, Virgo. And so it feels like you need to focus on one direction and then follow it through all the way, and then that will lead to success. Let's see what the potential outcome is. Interesting, another Six of Swords. Such an interesting reading. The Six of Swords is guiding you to get distance from something that feels limited or that it just no longer serves you. So you're hanging on to something here, Virgo, that doesn't serve you anymore, instead of focusing all your energy on where it does serve you. You're spread yourself too thin. Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Oh, wow, perfect. The Death card in reverse. So again, this is sort of an energy that says I'm resisting, I'm resisting, I'm resisting. And then it's kind of like the energy shifts anyway. You know, even if you're not playing ball, even if you're resisting, sometimes the energy it can't sustain itself as is, because it's not sustainable. It really does feel like you've spread yourself too thin, and that's not a sustainable dynamic for you, and that this change is coming regardless. So better that you get distance from things, make your choices, you know, and don't cling to this fear. Don't cling to this attachment that there isn't enough, so that you end up hoarding things from the buffet, or you end up hoarding opportunities or whatever. You know, you hang on to things that don't serve you anymore because you think, well, what if nothing better comes along? Virgo, it's going to come along. Something in alignment for you is coming. It feels like you have to shift first. You must shift within to see the shift here, right? It's not the other way around. Things don't shift out there before we shift in here. So it's very interesting reading for you. I feel like resisting this, look at that. Soulmates never-ending story is as I cut the deck. So being too critical and having limited beliefs could be preventing you from something that's really in alignment with you. For some of you, it could be a relationship. It doesn't have to be. But seeing soulmates and lovers is intriguing. So, you know, take it as it resonates, my friends, because it is general. But the bottom line here is make authentic choices and leave the fear like in the background. Don't take that fear with you as a way to make choices, because then you'll end up sitting in lack, and you'll end up taking on too much because you don't think there's enough, and you'll be afraid that nothing will come tomorrow. So you'll just keep piling on stuff and you won't be able to get to it, and you'll feel bad about it. So, you know, it's interesting. You'll feel like you just can't, like, I feel like there's this energy where you'll beat yourself up and say, I'm no good at anything. And it's like, that's not the case. No one can possibly be good at 20,000 different things at once. You have to focus on something to give it your all. You can't give your all to everything. It's just not the way we were designed, you know? Okay, let's see. What's the overall energy here for Virgo? Imagine. I like this. You got the Imagine card, which is really one of creating a new vision in your mind, that your perception creates your reality, not the other way around. Sometimes we allow our reality to create our perception, which ends up just putting us in a loop where we're looping and looping and looping. But if you create that reality in your perception first, and then you focus on it and you put energy behind it and effort, and you work towards it and you choose it day after day, it comes out. It shows up. It'll show up. And so you're being guided to really do that exercise. The bottom of the deck is change in the wind in reverse. Just like I was saying, like with this card, if you resist it, that change is going to come, because this is not sustainable. The energy can't be sustained in this way, so it will shift. But you're being invited here to be a part of that, right? Create the reality in your perception first, and then watch it happen. Watch it be created right before your eyes, with you focusing on it and giving it your attention, your focus, your dedication, and your energy. It will show up. It starts with you, Virgo. It starts with you and your choices. It starts with you and your choices. Okay, now, for a question that would be powerful for you, it says here, am I honoring my knowing? Are you? Do you trust yourself? Or are you feeling completely like you're in a random cycle where nothing makes any sense, and you just have to sort of keep taking things because there might be nothing to take tomorrow? I can't help but feel that lack in this reading, that you're making choices from fear, not authenticity and trust. You're making them out of fear right now. Honor your knowing, Virgo. I want to get you another question. Another reflection question for Virgo that would be helpful in this situation. Ooh, that fell on the floor. One sec. See how it fell on the floor? Fell on the floor. Oh, is that interesting? Okay, would more tenderness help? I like this mouse question. Nest. Trust and nest. This is really interesting. I feel like you have to be more tender with yourself. You almost have to be gentle and tender with yourself right now, because you can't do it all. Notice how the card fell on the floor, just like we were talking, that when we take on too much, it's like a way of sabotaging ourselves. You know what I mean? And sometimes we have to be more tender with ourselves, and we have to trust more. It's such an interesting reading for you. The bottom of the deck here says, what gifts await? What gifts await you? You don't know, because you might be making choices out of fear right now, Virgo. Let's see. What does Virgo need to surrender or surrender to for their highest good? What does Virgo need to surrender or surrender to? Whew, that fell on the floor too. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Virgo, you got two cards. Surrender defensiveness and surrender your belief in scarcity. I want to focus on this one right now, because that really did come through this reading for you. It says here, the universe is asking you to open to the infinite nature of abundance. I think I actually said those words. In this way, you can remove blocks from your life and succeed beyond your wildest dreams. Surrender your belief in scarcity. I really picked up on that in your reading. And the other one is surrender your defensiveness. Don't get defensive here. Don't get defensive. If something's triggering you, ask yourself, what is this teaching me about myself? Because defensiveness is like this wonderful gift of showing us where we need to do more work, where we haven't done the work. And so we're getting defensive because it's hitting a nerve, it's triggering us. So instead of getting defensive, and instead of sort of focusing on lack, ask yourself, what is this situation teaching me about myself and my beliefs? Because I think you'll find that it's teaching you that you're making your choices out of a belief in scarcity, fear, and a lack of abundance. And when that is mentioned, you might be getting very triggered even listening to this reading, and you may have gotten a bit defensive listening to what I'm saying. So that in and of itself is a sign that is trying to guide you to where you need to be more tender, and to ask yourself if you're honoring your true knowing, and really asking you about what you're imagining and how you're creating your reality with your perception. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me today, Virgo. I hope this reading has been helpful, and I look forward to reading for you again soon, my friends. I'm sending you so much love and encouragement. Take care.